Another week. Happy to be back. I love saying this when we come back in here the week after the game is we had a really positive result. We were able to pick up another victory over a really good St. Joe's team. I was just super proud of our kids and their preparation last week, and I think the result of the game really was what we deserved based on how well they practiced all week. And then we get an opportunity this week to take that next step in our program. We go play a team that this is our 17th game in MVP history, and it'll be the third time we played Crescent. Obviously playing them last year and then running into them in the playoffs. And with that familiarity means that they'll be comfortable in what we do, and it'll be a really great challenge for us. Last year when we were down there, we were down 21-7 at halftime and had to really play a really good half of football to come away with a victory down there. So I think our kids are really excited. Really thankful to have Jacobie beside me today. Our defensive leader, our captain. I just can't say enough great things about Jacobie and who he is as a leader of our football team. If you ever watch Jacobie play football, I think the skill stands out. But he really is a true extension of us as a coaching staff, and I know that on the defensive side of the ball, Coach Henderson really appreciates what Jacobie does for us, and just really proud of his growth. So excited to have him here this week for you to hear a little bit maybe insight into our defense and their preparation. And excited for this week. We get a chance to go play a really good football team, and I think that it allows us to try to take those next step forward to hopefully get to our ultimate goals down the road.
So obviously you said like last year y'all were down 21-7 going into halftime. What did you say or do in the locker room to go back out and flip the score?
I think it was a tale of probably two things. For me, it was for me to go in and let them know that our lack of success in that first half of football was directly based on how we executed and what we did. And that if we stayed confident and we stayed poised, that we would have an opportunity to go and win the football game. And that not necessarily that Crescent wasn't a good team, it's just that we felt like we really didn't play a good half of football. We had a lot of mental miscues and missed assignments and didn't operate. And then Coach Hunter, who, yin and yang as you go back and forth, Coach Hunter had a speech that I think got the boys ready to go play in the second half. And we came out really energized, and it was kind of a turning point for us. Everything for us last year was new. Every time we went through a situation, it was the first time we had done something. And we had went through our first 3 games, and it was pretty smooth. We had things that we needed to work on, but we were never down. And so that was the first time in program history that we went into halftime not having the lead, and it was fun for me to see how we responded. I think we scored 42 unanswered points, won the second half 42-0. So we played a really dominant half of football, and it was kind of a linchpin for us to move forward of what we can do and who we need to be to play like that constantly and not just wait to turn it on in the second half. Because when you play a team like Crescent, you've got to play 4 quarters of football if you want to be able to beat them, and it'll be the same story for us on Friday.
How do you keep your motivation going when you're losing down? How do you keep it up?
I think it's just, again, a correlation to life lessons in football. Now, it's fun for me as a coach. Sometimes I know this may sound weird as a coaching staff and as the head coach. Sometimes, especially early on in the season, you like to see your kids struggle. You like to see your kids in moments of adversity because down the road in the playoffs or against a really high-caliber team and in championship games, it's going to go wrong. That's what football is all about. You chase perfections, but you're going to fail more than you succeed. So I like when our kids get thrown into the fire. I think that's what makes us better down the road. So not that I want us to lose by any means, but I like a little adversity. I like when kids are a drive didn't go the way that we were supposed to. We turned the ball over. The defense had a miscommunication. And you get to go to them and say, look, calm down. Know what we're trying to do. How do you respond on the next play? And it really comes down to what we try to put into their lives in preparation throughout the weekend, and that's their own lives. What do you do when you've got a bad test grade? Are you just going to quit at math because you had one bad test grade? Or are you going to come back the next week and you're going to do something different, right? If you want to get new results, you've got to make new investments. So it's making kids respond to those things as we go. So that's been fun for me to see.
What's some areas you want to going into next week?
What you got? You want to take me on?
We want to execute more on small details, and have mental focus more. Because practice, we need to have more focus so we can be ready for the team we play next week.
You know, I would agree with Jacobie. I think it's a perfect example of what we're trying to do. I think through 3 weeks, we've been things that we have not done well, we've been able to pinpoint back on film and say, man, we messed it up. These are things that we can fix. That's exciting. And it's come down to little bitty details like Jacobie is. Jacobie does a great job for us. He's kind of that mouthpiece for us out on the field. You see him a lot of times. He's running around pointing. You may hear him even in the stands. He's getting people lined up. They have a tough job on defense. The game of football is a true team sport. Jacobie and 9 other of his players on defense, that makes us at 10, can do it perfect. I mean, we couldn't find an NFL player to do it better. And if one person is in the wrong spot and they happen to have the right play call on, we give up a touchdown. It's not even just a big play. We give up a touchdown. So trying to eliminate those big plays, I think, is what we want to do from the offensive standpoint. We want to continue to take care of the football. It's a turnover-based game. And in high school, taking care of the football, and for them, taking the football away are things that we're trying to focus on because it's momentum swings. So that's a great answer by Jacobie.
How are you going to lead the defense this week?
I'm gonna lead the defense this week. I'm gonna make sure we get locked in, know their keys, alignments, assignments, execute on defense all the time. If we have one bad play, next play mentality.
All right, I'll help them out a little bit. We've made a lot of good plays last week. I went back and watched the video and had some, at least one forced fumble, 2 turnovers on the way.
Mhm.
What do you think, how do you think you've taken the lessons from last week into this week?
I think last week was such a physical game. And we really challenged our football team to be physical. We knew that their style of offense and how they played, we were going to have to answer the bell as far as a physicality standpoint. They played kind of in a box. We came away, it's a tough football game. We have some injuries from last week, and that's part of high school football as we go. And trying to take the things that we really did well and improve upon it. Offense scored 66 points. That's the second highest output we've had in program history. And then we still felt like we could have played a lot better. I don't want to sound like I'm crazy up here when you score 6 because we're really proud of those guys. But I think that's just our approach in the defense, getting turnovers. That was a way that we stopped some of their momentum last week. St. Joe's, we practiced it, but they have a really good onside kick. It's a middle bunt that requires, again, 4 to 5 kids to do exactly what we need you to do. If not, they're going to get the ball. They recovered an onside kick. They scored. So the momentum was leaking back their way, and our defense made a play with a turnover to kind of stop that bleeding and that momentum, and we were able to take back control of the football game. So we always preach defense, turnovers, turnovers, turnovers. Like, you've got to create them. It gives us more possessions on offense. It's huge momentum swings. I mean, you can just see it by the reaction of these guys when it happens. I try to get them to play all the time like the play was a turnover, like flying around. But as soon as we get that ball in our hands, whether it's an interception or a fumble, those teal or white jerseys, they explode. So it's just a huge, turning point for our team. And so hopefully we can continue to do a good job of that. We've really focused on that in the offense or on the offseason. Jacobie has been a crucial leader in that and talking to guys. A lot of times playing at safety or running down in the box, Jacobie gets to be either the first or the second guy, depending on what his role is, and the other guys getting the ball away. We've worked on really punching the ball out. We've had some interceptions this year. So the things that we wanted to work on have proven. And this week against Crescent, they like to throw the ball a little bit more. They've got a really good receiver that has some D1 offers, and they're going to try to get him the ball. I'm excited for our guys in the secondary this week to have some opportunities to make plays.
Jacobie, talk a little bit about what you've been doing going into this game.
Well, Crescent got a good offense, so we got to really shut them down because they got a good quarterback. He can run, pass. Got a good receiver, like he said. Got good D1 offers. they're gonna try to give him the ball a lot, so we gotta shut him down too. And then also insert our run game.
What made the offense so successful last week?
It was really a total game. Anytime the offense is successful, it doesn't look that way. I'm a quarterback guy. That's what I coach. That's what I played, right? I like to give praise to the quarterback when you can, but anytime an offense is successful, it starts with up front. You know, and we rotated some more guys, but our starting five last week played phenomenal. They have the entire season. You know, Coach Morris has done a great job with those guys up front this year. And really the turning point in our offense from last year is because of those guys up front. We did a lot of things schematically last year. We had some sophomores. We had some inexperience up front. We tried to hide some of those disadvantages with tackle over and adding people to the box. And then this year we can spread you out because our five can block your five. And that makes us really dynamic on offense. So they started, and that's really where the foundation lays. And then we've had good play out of the backfield. You know, Mac last week, area player of the week, 7 total touchdowns. That's a pretty good game. You know, he's been a great leader for us. Our running back stable. It was good to get Nice back last week from an injury and get him a few carries, and excited to see him play this week. Matthias really stepping up for us, and then Juice stepping into the running back role. So our running backs have been great. And then the wide receivers. You've got KD, who kind of leads that group. Savion caught a big touchdown pass for us as we go. Hayden playing at the A, and then chases that Swiss Army knife in and out of the box. That was a total collective effort. Anytime you score 66 points, it takes a collective effort. So I was just really, really proud of them. In the game of high school football, as quickly as the clock runs and some of the rules, to score 66 points means you played pretty well.
What motivation would you guys use, maybe even from last game, to use for the next game?
Say it again.
What motivation would you guys use, maybe even from last game, and use that like for the next game?
I think for me, and I hope Jacobie agrees, is that our motivation is who we are. I think we start every Monday with what's our standard? How do we want to practice? I don't mind giving you some insight into this week's practice because they would tell you, I thought Tuesday's practice for us here was probably the worst practice that we've had since the doors opened. It just wasn't up to what we want to be and who we want to be. And we challenged them hard in the pre-practice meetings, and we watched film of practice and where effort was not there, and we talked about things that I didn't do well that day to get them prepared. So it starts from the top down, and then we responded yesterday, and not to feel like I'm trying to motivate kids. It truly was our best practice we've ever had while the doors have been open. So that was 2 extremes. You know, we understand that if that's our 2 extremes in 2 days, we're in the middle, that would make us an average football team. But I think we can continue to stack days that were like Wednesday and how they practiced. They'll hear me all the time. I love kids. I think Jacobie even he might be the most recent one. When does practice get out? And my answer is always the same. So it's kind of turned into a running joke, and it's when it's right. That's when practice gets out. It's when it's right. So yesterday we had a practice that was scheduled from 3:30 to 5:30. And then we didn't get out until 3:45, so we're 15 minutes late, and we finished at 5:22. So how they practice, they cut off 23 minutes of practice based on their effort that was supposed to design to be that 2 hour with our walkthroughs included, and they cut 23. That's how fast they practiced. We didn't have to go over things multiple times. That's how great they were getting on and off the field in different periods. So I'm just super proud of them of taking ownership of that, because I was tough on them. I really was this week in the meetings and highlighting things that we weren't doing well, and had to be hard on myself because it's my program, and had to look at kids and say, look, I got to do a better job for you to get you prepared and to make sure that you understand what it's like to practice. And, man, did they respond yesterday. So as I was at home last night, it just makes you proud as a coach. So that's kind of our motivation is, can we every day take what our standard is and meet it and try to exceed it down the road.
Jacobie, can you talk a little bit about your leadership role this year?
My leadership is like an extension to the coaching staff. Like, when I get on the field, I make sure everybody lined up right, call plays. Me and Coco get a disagreement on play calling. I'll be helping them out. And also, like, I'm like the voice of the film, energy. When they see me hype, they get hyped too.
All right, any other questions, guys?
Jacobie, what's a quote that you go by every day?
I don't know.
We're gonna put some pressure on him. You need to go learn one now. He's gonna go
Oh,
learn
no.
one.
I don't know the quote.
Maybe like a Bible verse or something that you go by.
That's a tough question.
Yes.
Come back to that. Anybody else?
Are y'all practicing any new plays?
I think for us is that every week, to give you some insight into our preparation as a coaching staff and for our kids, is a lot of what we do is based on what the other team does. So we have a base of plays on offense or defense that we like to, that's our identity, that's what we do. I mean, some of those are never gonna change. It doesn't matter who we play. From an offensive standpoint, we're gonna do this. This is staples of ours. But then there's some things that we did last week that if we were to run the same way, to protect it the same way, it's not gonna work against this team this week because they run a different front. They show some different blitzes, so we can't protect this way. Our route combinations based on the zones that they play don't work. So you really have to adjust every week. Our coaching staff every Sunday meets up here at 1:30, and we meet in the afternoon on Sundays to put together the game plan. And I've been thankful because these kids allow us to do it. You'll see a lot of different stuff from us week to week. So yeah, there's new things that we try to figure out that we think will work every single week, and that's a testament to the great teams that we've been playing. They force you to do those things. So I'm proud of our staff. I'm proud of our kids because we come in on Monday and there's a lot of changes to the game plan from the week before. And how do you handle that? How do you learn these little differences that we have? So hopefully we continue to do that because once we get into region play and the familiarity picks up, right? We're now into a second year of region. They have tape on us. We have tape on them. We kind of know who their players are, how to attack weaknesses, how to attack our weaknesses, what are our strengths. It's the fun part as a coach, you know, the mind games that you get to play and to try to dial things up to get some points. So, yeah, we would definitely have some things from week to week that are different.
Anybody else?
What is your coaching philosophy and how does it align with the school values?
Coaching philosophy, I think, is pretty easy. You know, we said this in the video. It was a Nick Saban thing, and I'll use the quote, and it kind of encompasses what we want to, is that, you know, high achievers do not like mediocre people, and mediocre people do not like high achievers. And that you fit somewhere in that. You're either a high achiever or you're a mediocre person, average person. You know, for football, I'm a young coach in this profession, and I think our players and our staff get it. I have a really old school mindset. Like, I love Nick Saban. Like, you know, we were watching a video yesterday, and he had a 6-year-old at a youth camp. He made him shake his hand, and he almost made the little kid cry because he didn't shake his hand the right way. You know, the little details of where you're at. And I think that's kind of our mantra here, is to be an elite person, right? Be a high achiever. And in order to do that, that means it has to bother you to be around people that don't make you be great. In this age, most of the time when I see a kid in our program make a bad decision, he had somebody else beside him. So they partnered in his demise. That's probably not a really true friend. Like, if you're hanging around people that don't care about you making good grades, I don't think they're a really good friend to you. If you're hanging around with people that y'all go off in the car to a place you know you're not supposed to be, I don't think he's a really good friend of yours because he's going to allow you to make bad decisions. So trying to get them to be a high achiever and want to be around high achievers and to bring people with them. And that's the biggest thing because you can't do it on your own. You can say that you're powerful, you can say that you do this, but you need other like-minded people to be with you, to partner with, to make good decisions.
I'm gonna put that quote on my board.
Yeah, yeah, go ahead.
All right, anybody else?
Can I go back to his question?
There you go.
A quote that I go through is the standard is the standard. Always meet the standard.
Absolutely.
There we go.
Absolutely. Great one. How do I handle them? How to help them? I wish that we had a magic button to press and allow all these kids to use the game of football of how they can pay and support their family. I think that's the ultimate dream for a lot of those kids. I remember sitting in classes at their age, and, you know, I had dreams too, right? Major League Baseball player, football player. And we have some players that I think have the opportunity maybe one day to do that. They're obviously going to have opportunities to go play at the next level. My biggest thing is helping them understand that I want them to be prepared if at any given moment the game of football is taken away from them. So I don't ever want to take away that dream of theirs to go and play football, because if that happens, man, what a blessing that is for their life and what they're going to be able to do. But you never know in this game. It's a physical game. It's one of the most physical games on earth. It could be a physical thing. It could be a mental thing. I think Coach Hunter, who's on our staff, has talked about this a lot. You know, he was one of the best players in the country when he went to Clemson. And because of medical issues, the game of football on any given day can be taken away from you. And then who are you? What's your identity if you're not involved in sports anymore? Are you prepared that if that game gets taken away from you, will you still be successful? Will you be a good employee? Will you be a good husband? Will you be a good father? Will you do all of those things if football is not there? And even if it is, sometime the game is going to end. You know, you're going to be 38 years old, and let's put you at the end of the spectrum, and you made it. You were the elite of the elite, the 0.01%, and you got to go play football for your career. Or you're 38 years old, and you're retired. I hope that you feel like you got a lot of life ahead of you at 39 years old. What are you going to do now? What are you hanging your hat on? You're not a football player anymore. How do you prepare yourself in life after that? So I hope that I help them get there. Coaching is fun. I want to prepare them to go play at the next level so that when they get to college, they feel like they were just as prepared, if not prepared more in our program than they are at the college level. And then if they earn that next opportunity, they look back at us. I love the development that Coach Ramsey and the staff had for me when I was in high school, and they made me a better player. But most importantly, I hope that that doesn't become the first thing that pops into their mind. They think about the memories that we made off the field, the conversations that we've had, the tough ones that are in the office sometimes, and, you know, challenge them to be great people. That was a great question. Very good question.